everyone, how are you guys doing? This is a new moon collective reading, so this is for all signs, and we're just going to kind of look into the whole collective of what this new moon in Gemini is going to be. Just to give you a little bit of clarification, right now I already said it, but it's a new moon in Gemini, and then we are also retrograded in Gemini. And how I automatically take that energy just from the feeling of it is shh. All of you that are working on plans and working on, bettering your life, going through this cycle, now is the time for shh, quiet. When I say quiet, I mean whatever you're working on right now, don't speak about it. Just plan. Gemini is a very communicative sign. It's a sign of communication. It's ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, right? And it's Mercury, and it's retrograded right now. So shh. And also, new moon is things that are being worked on but hidden, because the moon is always at work. Through every phase, the moon, she works. She works on something. But in the new moon, we can't see her because she's closest to the sun. She's aligned with the sun. And so now it's shh. But we're going to go ahead and take a look here. Now, what I will tell you is these are new cards, and the meanings of these cards. These are new cards for me, and they have been gifted to me. This is the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck. And so when I pull these cards, I will be reading the meaning from the book, because I definitely want to get the full meaning of everything that it's saying here. Okay, so I'm going to take a look into what is this new moon energy wise. What is this saying for the collective, all 12 signs, everyone that is watching this reading, everybody that is coming to this reading? What is it saying? We want to know emotions. We want to know everybody's mentality, so how everybody is thinking. And we want to know about spirit. So emotional, mental, and spirit. What are we looking at? Emotional, mental, and spirit. I can tell you right now, I'm not surprised. We got most of the cards in the mentality part, which I'm not surprised because this is all happening in the sign of Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, and air rules the mentality of the collective, so your mind state. So we're going to look into emotions right now. And for emotions, we have the Two of Earth, or the Two of Pentacles in the regular deck. So in the emotions right now, I will tell you that everybody is balancing their emotions out. This is what this energy is saying. We're going to read it from the book about what this is going on. Okay, so we have the Two of Earth. And the key phrases for this is balancing work and play, balancing responsibility and personal needs, be open to compromise, be confident but grounded, realistic goals and expectations, take stock and prioritize, forgive your limitations, and ask for help. With the meaning, the Two of Earth card symbolizes the importance of balancing work, home, family, and play, whilst remaining flexible and adaptable in meeting one's commitments and responsibilities. You are filled with a sense of purpose. You have goals and dreams. Nurture them. Be willing to do what is needed in order to make them manifest, but do so with mindfulness and the awareness that all you do has an impact on those around you. Be confident. Trust in both yourself and your abilities, but also be flexible, adaptable, and open to compromise. Self-belief is the key to maintaining a healthy equilibrium. If you believe that you can achieve your goals and meet your responsibilities at the same time, then there is a good chance that you can. But ground your self-confidence in reality, realizing that you are not superhuman or perfect. There is a limit to what you can do and achieve without burning the candle at both ends. Be aware and respectful of your physical, mental, and emotional needs. Forgive your limitations, ask for help, and share your responsibilities if you need to before you start to drop things because you are mentally, physically, and emotionally worn. Potential blockage: stress, anxiety, fatigue, failure to manifest desired outcomes, an inability to focus, neglect of self and others. All these are symptoms of being overburdened and overwhelmed. Too many responsibilities and goals can result in you feeling overwhelmed and weighed down. Distraction, procrastination, and the failure to meet commitments may create conflict with those around you. An unwillingness or inability to focus on what is truly important will manifest in less than desirable outcomes. When the Two of Earth appears reversed, it represents a need to... Okay, so we're not going to read that part because in this deck, I'm not reading reversals because I really like this deck for the moon phases reading. It's very beautiful and it's very mystical, and that's just kind of what it brings out in me. So for everybody's emotions right now, what I got from the Two of Earth, like I said before, it's about balancing. Emotions are balancing. Every sign is going through emotional turmoil right now, and that is okay. That is part of life. You have turmoil in some parts in your life, and they're supposed to be balanced out. Emotions stem to not just romance, livelihood, money, stability, family. All of these things can be rooted into your emotions. They're very emotional. So balancing everything without feeling too, without wearing yourself out. Finding that balance. Don't do too much, but don't do too little. And of course, the biggest thing that kept coming out to me with this card when I was reading the description was help. This lady, she looks so helping. You know, they say the Two of Pentacles, but she has four, or the Two of Earth, but she has 4 eggs. Isn't that very interesting? You can see it right there. She has 4. Yeah. She has 4 eggs. So this is all about balancing everything out. And 4 is a number of stability, even though it's coming into this two of Earth card. 4 is a number of stability. Balancing all that out. It's a very hard thing to do. But as far as emotions go, this is what is at the forefront for the new moon in Gemini. So we're going to look into mentality here. And we have the 6 of Cups. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that. Like I said, this is my first time reading this reading this deck. So I will be looking into I will be reading from the book on the meanings. Just because I always do that with the new deck. Just in general. So we have let's see. What is this card? You know what? I actually think this is the 6 of Earth. They don't necessarily say it on the card. Yes, this is the 6 of Earth. Okay. So keywords is family, community, providence, protection, dependability, responsibility, duty, service, self-sacrifice, and self-sacrifice. Key phrases: responsibility and duty to family, give love, care, and support, lead by example, a time of sharing, learn about nature, important matters need attention, protect the animals, forests, and oceans, help for the right reasons. Meaning: the six of earth reminds us of our responsibility and duty to our family, especially the younger members. It asks us to be selfless and in service to those who are in need or dependent on us for love, care, and support. If you have children, it is your responsibility to provide for them with a home that is safe and free from potential harm. It is your duty to provide for their physical and emotional needs, love and shelter them. As a parent, it is your responsibility to set a good example, to be a role model to those around you. Educate them. Teach them to be truthful, respectful, and to do unto others as they would have others do unto them. Teach them about life outside the home, of nature, of the world they dwell on, and their role as custodians and caretakers of this blue-green earth. Teach by word and deed. Lead by example. If you have no children, the six of earth comes to remind you that it is your responsibility to both humanity and Gaia to become the best person you can be. Help where and when you can in your local community. Teach and share your knowledge whenever possible. Lead by example and be responsible for your words and deeds within the broader community. Look out into the world and understand that we share this planet and its resources, and each of us needs to do what we can to protect the animals, forests, and oceans. All of us have a duty of care to both family and the environment. While the six of earth represents responsibility and duty of care overall, it can also signify that there is a matter that needs to be taken care of in the present. If this is the case, do not forget, do not delay. So what I'm getting about this is, with this new moon right now, what the moon is kind of calling out right now, the moon is calling out partnerships. When I say partnerships, I'm not necessarily talking about romance, but for the collective to come together. You know, when you're talking about the zodiac, it's 12 signs, and each sign is unique to their specific, they have specific traits. And when you talk about the sun signs, you're talking about ego. When you talk about the moon, you're talking about emotions. And you're also talking about things that are hidden, things that are beneath the ego. So with the moon phase right now, new moon in Gemini is asking for the collective to fall beneath their ego and start looking at the bigger picture. What are you good at in life? What are you good at? Everybody is a professional. Everybody is a genius. What are you a genius at? Start spreading that in the world so that you can create more geniuses, right? You have a piece that this world needs. You need to be working on it. You need to be fostering it. You need to be making it happen. And as you go down that path, the universe is going to guide you, and you will be in the universe's hands. And the safest place to be ever in your life is in the universe's hands. It's safer than your own mother's womb. Okay? So this is where the mentality is supposed to happen. Right now with the moon phase, with the mental state is helping others, being selfless, calling you to your true path of what you are supposed to do in life. Now we're going to look into spirit. Spirit. 9 of swords or 9 of air. So we're going to go ahead and take a look into this. I'm telling, oh, and look, she's at the back. Isn't she beautiful? She's at the back of the book. Oh my God, that's a beautiful card. I'm not gonna lie, I love this deck. Okay, Nine of Air, and this is with spirit. Self-awareness, universal consciousness, understanding, insight, vision, imagination, fantasy, creativity. Key phrases: open to possibility, possibilities are infinite. Know thyself and know the universe. What dwells within you dwells within nature. Belief creates. All that exists was first imagined. Fantasy is the birthplace of reality. You were born to create. Imagine your fears away. The meaning: the Nine of Air represents the imagination and our connection to the universal consciousness or universal mind. It signifies the importance of knowing thyself. For in truly knowing thyself, one will know both the universe and the power of the void. Ask yourself, what if the universe we dwell within is actually the mind of another being? What if the universe is, in reality, a God mind, and we the creation of another being's imagination? What if, within our minds, there exist universes within universes, where creatures that we dream of and imagine dwell in the same way we do here upon the earth, and within their minds are more universes? Like fractals, where the same pattern repeats and creates, our minds contain a universe, and within that universe are creatures and beings who also have universes within their minds. The universe in which we dwell is one of the billions existing within the mind that is yet another universe. The pattern repeats in both directions, exponentially, creating an infinite number of universes and realities. Now ponder a moment. What if we looked within and discovered that within the realms of our minds, we create new worlds and realities with our belief? We choose to believe in something, and a new world that mirrors that belief is born. We stop believing in something, and that world either evolves with our beliefs or ceases to be completely. Universes overlap, are born, and die, forever bound to the life and beliefs of the God mind that created them. What if billions of lives were dependent upon our belief for their very existence? Would it not be wise to believe with understanding and knowledge? Would that not create a universe that is a little more constant and conducive to life? What if we are the only beings within this universe because the God mind in which we dwell is a young mind with limited exposure, and at this time only believes in our existence? Pythagoras is credited with saying, "Man, know thyself, and you will know the universe in which gods dwell." Simply put, he believed that to know oneself was to know the universe and the power of the gods, and he is correct. Everything man has within our physical reality that is not born of the natural world was first imagined by man. The television, the phone in your hand, the laptop on your desk, the movies you watch, the car you drive, everything that man has created was first imagined by their inventor. Moreover, when those brave souls voiced their desire to create their new and strange contraptions, they were seen as crazy, eccentric, and foolish. They were told that what they wanted to create was fantasy. At one time or another, everything we have in our present reality was once deemed to be an impossible fantasy, and yet now these things exist, and we take their existence for granted. That was powerful, and we're not even done. This is the power of the mind, and the mind's true potential has not yet even begun to be understood or known. All we do know is that the only limit to the mind and what it can do is one that we, the individual, place upon it. We are only limited by our imagination, or lack of it. By looking within, learning and understanding the mind and the complex manner in which it controls our lives, and how it has taken our life experiences and used them to influence all we do and all that we are, we can choose to unlearn some beliefs, change our thinking, and embrace a new, less restrictive way of thinking. You can become the God mind that you are. And within your mind, you can imagine and make what you imagine into a reality. We live in a society that admires innovation and creativity, and yet, paradoxically, fears it, and at times actively seeks to destroy the desire to create. We may be exposed to teachers who punish those who ask questions and challenge the answers because they know there is a better way. We might be ridiculed by family and friends when we use our imaginations and speak of things that are deemed to be fantastical and unbelievable. But again, all that exists in our present reality was once fantasy and dwelt only in the mind. We may find we are repeatedly trained to reject creative endeavors as a waste of time and effort. The Nine of Air represents the importance of knowing your mind, understanding the beliefs and thoughts that limit and restrict you, and freeing your imagination. Now it is time to embrace innovation and creation. It is time to step into the realms of the unknown and imagine, to enter the void, where your imagination is most powerful, and bring what you find there to life. You were born of a universal consciousness. You are capable of greatness, but all too often you may have been punished for seeking it. Nonetheless, it is time to let go of any unconscious bias against creativity and embrace it as the expression of human power and ingenuity that it is. You are as powerful as your mind allows you to be. You are as creative as your mind allows you to be. Don't be afraid to embrace your beautiful imagination. The void in which it resides is the womb that gives birth to a universe that is teeming with life and possibilities. To imagine and create is to make divine magic. You were born of a creative universal consciousness. You were born to create. That's so beautiful. And whew, wow, I just want to take a little pause because that energy is very powerful when it comes to spirit. Um, wow, wow. This is definitely a manifestation time. This is a high manifestation time. There are a lot of manifestors out there, and you can feel their energy collectively through this one card when it talks about spirit, because spirit is talking also about a grid and how we're all connected. That's beautiful. I can definitely see why these cards came to me. So we're going to definitely take a deeper look into about a spread, taking a deeper look into this new moon, okay? So the first thing that we're going to look at is at the bottom of the deck. And this looks to be like the Four of Wands or Four of Fire for this deck. All these cards we are going to read from the book on, so this is going to take a little while, and that's fine. If you need to pause right now, now would be a good time to pause. I'm actually going to pause this video and then come back, but now would be a good time to pause this because it is going to take us a little bit of time to get through all of this. This is my first time reading from this deck, and it was calling to me to do this new moon reading instead of doing a traditional tarot, and I can definitely see why. There's a lot of messages that are coming, and we're just going to read from the deck before we pull out any other cards. But like I said, it is going to take a little while, so because this is straight universal, I don't want to do any interpretations as far as, I just want to read from the deck, and I want to see what we're getting here when it comes to this new moon in Gemini. So if you need a pause, go to the bathroom, get you a little snack. I always like to do this. Get you a little snack, get you some water, get you some tea, check on your child, walk your dog, whatever you need to do. I think right now I would definitely suggest pausing and doing something, letting those first messages sit in, because that is the basis of everything that we're going into. And then we're going to be looking more into detail with when it comes to emotions, when it comes to mentality, and when it comes to the spirit. And then we're going to be taking it to the next level with this new moon reading, okay? Okay, welcome back, everyone. So I hope that you took the time to take a break because definitely we're going to be getting into more detail on the collective of this new moon when it comes to emotions, your mental state, and also your spirit. Okay, so for immediately, oh, I'm sorry, we were going to do the basis of the whole thing. This is the basis of this new moon. This is the basis of everything going into detail and everything, and we have the Four of Fire here. Okay, so we have the Four of Fire. This is about action, concentration, focused energy, application, practice, increased skill, impetus, and work ethic. Key phrases: focus mind, emotion, and deliberate action, creating impetus and momentum, establish a good work ethic, establish a creative process, devote time to regular practice, be willing and prepared, pay your dues, something is falling short of its target. So, meaning, the Four of Fire is symbolic of focused mind, emotion, and deliberate action that, once applied, lend impetus and momentum. It means acting with both skill and accuracy and establishing a work ethic or creative process that is a reflection of both. It is both focusing on the task at hand, making it the center of our attention, and not allowing distractions to cause us to lose sight of our target or objectives. The Four of Fire represents showing discipline by devoting regular time and energy to repeated practice and application, which in turn increases skill and ability, and in doing so, make one's actions more confident and therefore faster. Goals manifest faster, and outcomes are achieved with less energy wasted. With time and practice, a process can become as natural as breathing, and mistakes become fewer. Unlike other animals, humans are not born with the innate knowledge required to survive. To survive, we must be willing and prepared to learn. A baby first crawls, then walks, and then learns to run. That same baby cannot run before it has first learned to crawl and walk. We learn primarily through a process of repetition and practice. Without repetition and practice, we may be able to learn the rudiments of a new skill, but we cannot become brilliant or accomplished at it, even if we are naturally gifted. If the Four of Fire appears in a reading, it signifies the importance of focus, dedication, discipline, and practice on a physical level. It suggests that we concentrate now and do what needs to be done. The way we improve and achieve things faster is by devoting our attention and focus to practice. There is no such thing as an overnight success. You must first pay your dues. To be the best, to be the best takes time. Beautiful. So basically, if the universe has called you to action, now is the time to put in the practice. This is a new wave going on. The wave is putting into practice, putting into motion what you are called to do in your life. Now is the time. If you miss out on this time, you will need to wait until the next cycle. You will need to wait until the new wave. So people have been, if you notice, people around you have been starting businesses. They have been starting leadership roles in their community. They have been answering their call. Now is the last call before you have to wait till for the next cycle to begin. So this is the basis of this whole new moon in Gemini and what it's bringing out right now for people. This is why it's such an emotional time. This is why a lot of people are going through a purging. A lot of signs are going through purging and purging out the old in their life, what's not good in their life. And we're all going through a new cycle. This is a collective thing. Okay? So now, as far as emotions go, we have the Ace, and we have, I believe this is the Ace of Earth. We're going to take a look at that. Isn't that a beautiful card with the dragon? I love dragons. Okay, this is actually the Ace of Fire. Ooh, this is passionate. So this is when it comes to an emotions. This is the immediate thing that the moon is trying to say when it comes to your emotions as we're looking into it deeper and more in detail. Ace of Fire, new beginnings, initiative, action, conception, invention, creation, creativity, and procrastination. Key phrases: new beginnings and opportunities, actively pursue your goals, take advantage of what's being offered, move beyond research and planning, weave your future into being, take something old and make it better, break with tradition and offer something new. Uncertainty inspires procrastination. So, everybody that's being called, before we read into the meaning, I'm just going to say this message came to me. Everybody that is being called right now is being called for humanitarian reasons. This is why it's very emotional, because whenever it's a humanitarian or it's leading towards humanitarian purposes, and making the world a better place as a whole, the big picture, it's a very emotional thing. It requires a pure heart and it requires pure intentions. And so this is a big movement. This is a huge movement with the collective. Those who are chosen, those, because you can be chosen and not answer the call. So those who are chosen combined with those who have answered the call are are waking up now and putting in work to their purpose. Meaning, like all the ace cards, the Ace of Fire represents the promise of new beginnings and opportunities. But unlike the other aces, this card also represents action. It represents the power for and the necessity of taking the initiative and actively pursuing our goals. It is about taking advantage of the opportunities we are presented with as opposed to thinking about it. It is good to have a goal, to dream, and to make plans. But the Ace of Fire lets us know that now is the time to move beyond research and planning. It is time to take the first real steps towards getting things underway. It is time to follow through on inspiration and create. It is time to weave your future into being. Time for you to begin your active participation. The Ace of Fire also symbolizes inventiveness. Take an old idea and make it better or create something new and unique. Whatever you seek to do, you can now make it your own and imbue it with your unique perspective and imagination. Now, rather than following tradition, do something in a way that offers a new approach. You are surrounded by so much potential at this moment. The Ace of Fire represents passion and excitement. It is a time full of energy and life. Take advantage of this moment and the power it brings. Beautiful, beautiful. So people are definitely now, they're getting out of we're getting out of kind of tradition, which is good because tradition has led to almost the destruction of Earth. What we say is traditional now has led to almost the destruction of Earth. So it is a beautiful energy that the whole collective is changing. This new wave of people is changing, and we're changing things. We're bringing some ancient qualities. We're keeping some of the things that is tradition now, and then we're bringing in brand new ways as a combination for everybody to move forward together. Because the way forward is together. Whether you believe it or not, this is just the truth. The way forward is together. So in the recent past, when we're looking at emotions, with the moon, is the three of air. And this is why I want to read the definitions in this deck, because usually the three of air, which is the three of swords, it talks about, pain, but we're going to look into this. Three of air: education, talent, study, willingness, guides, teachers, comprehension, communication, and perception. Key phrases: expand your mind. Every experience offers a lesson. Education is a lifelong process. Learning aids comprehension. Lessons repeat until we understand. Let me say this one more time. Lessons repeat until we understand. I'm going to say it one more again. Lessons repeat until we understand. Learning transforms talent into skill. Don't kill the messenger. I'm going to repeat that again. Don't kill the messenger. Ignorance is nothing to be proud of. Meaning, the three of air symbolizes the importance of education and study in helping us to reach our highest potential and remind us that education should be thought of as a lifelong process. Life itself teaches us. Every experience can offer us a lesson. The people around us and those who come into our lives can all teach us and guide us. They can give us insight into who we are, who they are, and our relationships within society, nature, and our immediate environments. Education serves to help the individual develop an understanding of life and to comprehend it. It helps to maintain a sense of freedom and purpose. It helps us to determine whether a situation is right or wrong for us and provides us with other options. It also helps us to see that there can be long-term ramifications, rewards, and consequences to our actions. We learn of our history. We learn of our possible future. We learn about nature in the world. We learn about ourselves as a race, and we learn about the universe in which we dwell. The knowledge we receive via an education empowers us, and the more we know, the more we can accomplish. Education helps us to use our minds and our senses to our benefit. It protects us from being fooled, manipulated, and deceived, and it also gives us the means to follow our dreams. The more we learn, the more we can comprehend, and the easier it becomes to communicate and express ourselves. But to become both learned and educated takes time and a willingness to commit oneself to a lengthy process of study and evaluation of the information we have gathered. We must observe and listen, study, observe, and then be tested to see if we comprehend what we have learned, and then observe more and listen more, study, observe, and be tested once again. This process does not stop even when we leave the classroom. Life is our classroom. And it is by living life that our passions and talents and the opportunity to seek to increase our knowledge in a matter that can transform those passions and talents into genuine skill will be revealed. The three of air reminds us to move through life with the intention of learning from life, from our experiences, from the people around us, and from the world around us. To accomplish this, we can ask questions about everything and of everyone with whom we come into contact. We can seek out our elders and those who have different customs, because one will teach us of traditions and of a history that is not discussed in books, and the other will expose us to ideas and beliefs that are different to our own. Both in turn can provide us with the contrast and depth that will enable us to perceive the world from multiple perspectives. Listen to their stories. Allow them to teach you their trade of their history and culture. Learn from them in their lives, and you might discover they have given you the means to improve your own life. When we have the desire to learn and to nurture our talents, while patience will stand us in good stead, a desire for instant gratification will likely hinder us. It takes a true willingness to commit oneself to study and learning. To learn something and learn it well requires dedication, commitment, and time. Sometimes it takes a lifetime, and sometimes the lessons offered will repeat and repeat and repeat until we can perform a task as naturally and with as little thought as breathing. It is important to remember that sometimes learning cannot be rushed, and that practice will give way to ease and confidence. Repeated lessons and practice make it easier for us to understand, to comprehend. Comprehension is the ability to understand the lessons we have learned, and sometimes to do so requires both effort and willingness in the form of time and an open mind. Sometimes it requires learning certain lessons several times, until we become familiar, while other times our comprehension can only be increased by exposing ourselves to new experiences, places, and people, to the strange and the unfamiliar. The more you educate yourself, the more you know and understand, the easier it becomes to step outside of yourself and see the world and your experience for what they truly are. In doing so, it becomes easier to find your place, purpose, or direction, to fulfill your goals, and to lead a productive life. The three of air will appear in your cards when there is a need to expand your mind by educating yourself in order to improve and grow. So, emotionally, this comes up as the recent past. So, those who have been called, and I'm just going to say, just in general, those who have been called have been going through trials and tribulations. If you have been called, you have been going through trials and tribulations. And it's not the universe hating you. It's the universe molding you. If you're going through something, like they said, if you're repeating the same cycle, and this is with emotions, so this could be you dating the same type of person, right? You have the same type of people in your family that are toxic, right? You get the same type of liars as friends, right? You go through the same toxicity, and it seems like it keeps coming at you from all forms of relationships. It's because you are learning. Learn. Think about the lessons that you learned. Go beyond the trauma and think about the lessons that you learned, because you have been called. When you answer that call, you learn the lessons. That is answering it. That is your book. So, let's go ahead and take a look into, let's see, this next with the present is we have the Six of Fire. Okay? The Six of Fire when it comes to emotions as in the present time. So we're going to take a look at that in the book. Okay? Okay, so currently when it comes to your emotions, you have the Six of Fire. And this is, the key words is healing, meditation, negotiation, arbitration, truce, boundaries, support, and diplomacy. Key phrases: resolution is needed, communication and diplomacy required. Be willing to make concessions. Let go of bias. Be open-minded. Two sides to every disagreement. Know the facts. Understand your rights. And don't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn. I'm going to say it one more time. Don't be stubborn. Meaning, the Six of Fire represents a time of healing through meditation, negotiation, or arbitration. It is a time when communication and diplomacy is required in order to end a conflict or dispute. There are times in our lives when we may find ourselves caught up in a dispute or conflict after boundaries have been crossed or our feelings hurt or ego bruised. If lines of communication remain open and both parties are willing, the conflict can be resolved. However, there are often times when both parties find themselves unable to find or maintain the middle ground. And if they must continue to work or play a part in each other's lives, a mediator is required to negotiate or arbitrate a truce. There are two sides to every disagreement, and there are times when both parties involved can be right, and times when both parties can be wrong. For there to be a good outcome, both parties must first be willing to at least hear each other's point of view. And there are times when that will only happen if a mediator steps in to hear both sides without bias. Sometimes mediation is all that is required, and the simple act of allowing both parties to air their grievance and present their points of view allows them to come to a resolution on their own. There are also times when arbitration will be required, because neither party is willing to make concessions or allowances for the feelings or rights of the other. It is left to the arbitrator to determine who is in the right based upon the laws of the land. Even if a complete resolution cannot be achieved, the Six of Fire asks that we remain conciliatory at this time. An open mind and a willingness to meet the other party halfway will stand us in good stead. The Six of Fire may also represent a pending legal situation where rules or laws have been broken and as a result, harm has been done to another. The law will determine who is right and who is wrong. Justice will be served. In this circumstance, be sure to keep your emotions under control and have your facts straight. Remain respectful of the laws that are in place and be both courteous and considerate at all times. Your behavior, your attitude at this time may have bearing on the outcome, as will a sound knowledge of your rights and responsibility. Do not allow a lack of awareness or immoderate behavior place you at a disadvantage. So, as you can say, it was talking about law and it was talking about the justice system. But the justice system that it's also talking about, if you're not going through anything legal right now, it could also be the universe as your judge. So there has been a wrong done. As I said, it, you have been going through trials and tribulations. Correct? I said that. So through those trials and tribulations, people have done you wrong. And it's up to you to determine whether or not you will let somebody else's wrongdoing change you and change who you are. Now, when somebody does something wrong to you, it's not something that'll change you. It's lessons that are supposed to be learned, but you're not supposed to change. You're supposed to learn. And those are two different things. When you learn, you take those lessons and you apply them in the future when you're dealing with people. So, for instance, if you were in a relationship with somebody who cheated on you, that doesn't mean that you change and you become a cheater. That doesn't mean that you change and you don't take relationships seriously anymore because this one person did you wrong. It means that you take those lessons and in the next relationship that you have, when after you're healed, the next relationship that you have, you now know the signs of somebody who is cheating. So when you see those signs again, yes, question them. Because those signs prove to equal cheating in your past. Don't let it hang on you. Don't let it change you. It's the same true if you have any toxic family. Somebody did something wrong to you. Don't let it change you because you encountered one wrong person, or even two wrong people, or even 5 wrong people. I don't care if you encountered 100 wrong people. There are billions of people on the earth. That is not even a fraction of the amount of people that are here on earth. That is just what's around your world, in your circle. And that means you need to purge your circle and get new people around you. Okay? That was really deep. And that's where the emotions right now is going. There is a test going on. And this is a kind of a last minute this is almost like a last push to this ascension in this transition here. Or it could be the first, for some of you, it's the last push to go to the new cycle. For some of you, it's during the transition into the new cycle. And for some of you, this is the first test into the new cycle for you. So, either way, it's all going to come into the new cycle. So, now what we're looking at is in the near future. And I believe this is the Ace of Water. That looks like a water dragon. Oh, he's beautiful, isn't he? Oh my God, beautiful. Okay, so we're going to look into him. For emotions, we have a lot of aces. This is beautiful. Beautiful energy. Okay, Ace of Water. New emotions. First love, infatuation, attraction, lust, longing, excitement, passion. An exciting beginning. Oh, these are the key phrases. An exciting beginning. Take a leap of faith. Open your heart, follow passion's lead, a new experience or opportunity, a new friendship. Stop fighting your feelings, free of fear's influence. And here goes the meaning. The Ace of Water symbolizes the beginning of a new love and those feelings of nervous excitement we experience at the start of a new relationship. It is that growing sense of attraction and infatuation that draws you in and dares you to throw common sense aside. Falling in love is both paradoxically thrilling and terrifying, as a flood of emotions picks you up and carries you away. The river could carry you gently or lead you to rapids or worse, fling you over a waterfall. Regardless of where this new beginning may lead, now is time to open your heart to another or to a new experience or opportunity. Remember that the Ace of Water does not necessarily symbolize a romantic relationship. You are being asked to allow your desire, passion, or attraction to carry you along in its flow and trust that it will take you to where you need to be. Now, that is the positive part of this card. And this is those of you that pass this test with keeping your heart open and not allowing trauma to change you. Now, for those of you that is going to allow trauma to change you, I need to also read, and this is something that Spirit told me, I need to also read the other part of this card, which is the potential blockage. The Ace of Water reverse, so this is, I'm not taking reversals when I was doing this reading because it's for the moon, but I will read the reverse for this card because this card is, it could go positive for some of you and it can go negative for some of you too, and it depends on your decision making. The Ace of Water reverse can symbolize a moment or situation that has us feeling overwhelmed, denying or fighting our true feelings. We may love, but we are afraid to admit that we love. We may yearn for connection, but deny our need and do what we can to prevent bonds with others from forming. Fear of being hurt and disappointed, a discovering that the one we love is not who we thought them to be, simply having unrealistic expectations, can end many new relationships before they even begin. The Ace of Water signifies a need to let down the barriers you may have built around your heart and allow a loving experience or opportunity to unfold free of fears and influence. It asks that you allow a relationship to begin and be explored, whether that relationship be with a person or an interest, before you determine whether it is right or wrong for you. Beautiful. And then what we have for the ultimate result is we have the two of water. In the regular tarot deck, that's the Two of Cups. Ooh, that's romantic. So that's partnership. But let's go ahead and take a look into what this meaning is in this deck. So Two of Water. Key words is intimacy, closeness, trust, commitment, reconciliation, equality, union, codependency, and taking sides. Key phrases: going beyond infatuation and attraction, intimacy, sharing, giving, and communication, time to forgive and to seek reconciliation, a meeting of minds and hearts, put aside judgment and blame, cherish all of your loves, maintain independence and avoid codependence, avoid taking sides. Meaning: the Two of Water represents a relationship that has moved beyond infatuation and physical attraction to one that is built upon a foundation of deeper mutual love, respect, trust, or shared interests and values. It symbolizes a meeting of the mind and heart that is free of the desire to possess or control. This relationship is a unification of two hearts and minds, not with the purpose of becoming whole or to complete each other, but with the intent to share, to enrich, and to enhance each other's lives. This is a time of giving, sharing, and communication. A relationship is founded on intimacy. To share your thoughts, feelings, goals, and fears with the one you love is to be intimate. To hold them, to listen, and show interest is to be intimate. To show affection by reaching out to stroke their cheek or hold their hand is to be intimate. The two of hearts ultimately symbolizes intimacy within a relationship. It is also it is also represents a time of forgiveness and reconciliation. If a rift developed between lovers or friends, now is the time to let go of hurt and anger. Put aside judgment and blame. Do not allow arrogance, wounded pride, or ego to destroy your relationship. Where you can, take responsibility for your own choices and actions within the relationship and be mindful of how they have impacted and influenced that relationship. The Two of Water invites you to communicate, to forgive, or apologize now. Beautiful. So that has to deal with your emotions. This is about forgiveness time. This is about letting go of emotional baggage. This is about healing from trauma that has wounded you emotionally so that you can fly towards your goal. Emotions and partnerships is part of life. Do not let what society tells you that partnerships and love does not affect your life. It does affect your life. If you ever met somebody that felt no love, that is called a sociopath or a psychopath that has no feelings. Unless you are a sociopath or a psychopath, love matters in your life. That is just a fact, and it is a piece. It is a wild part of life, and that's why people usually want to drop it, because it's not something that is easily controlled, and it's not something that can be controlled, but that's the beauty of it. And love goes into so many other forms other than just in a relationship. Love happens in your passions, what you want to do in your life. Love is found when you wake up in the morning and you drink your cup of coffee, or you drink your tea, or you make your bed, and that feeling that you have after you make your bed, that's love. Love is when is when you put on those snuggly pajamas and you get in your bed. That's love. The way that you feel all comfortable, that's love. Okay? Love is when you're working out and then you got that. Then you got your weights and everything, and then you're going ah. Every time you say that's love. Love is in many forms all around us. You cannot hide from it. You are breathing because of love. Because your Creator loved you enough to give you breath and to give you choice in life. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to look into the mentality piece. But first we are going to take another break because this is a longer reading. And we are getting into details, so I do want to take a little bit of a break just so that can sink in. So we're going to pause this. If you need to, go get some more water. I want you to think about this message right now, because these are really deep messages, and I don't want to just skim over them and then move on. I want these messages to really sink in, because this is a really powerful energy, and it's really, deep. And it's for the whole collective, and I want you to place it. I really want you to ponder it. I want you to almost like meditate on it and think about it in your life. So we're going to take a pause, and we'll come back and we'll go over the mental state here. Okay? All right. Hi everyone and welcome back. So we're going to go ahead and look into the second row, which is our everybody, the collective's mental state, and what is the moon messages for this new moon in Gemini with your mentality. This is collective. So as the forefront, we have the youth. This is coming up in this deck as the major arcana. This is number 3. We're going to go ahead and we're going to read about this, okay? The youth. Adventure, new horizons, excitement, independence, freedom, rebellion, impulsiveness, loyalty, and compromise. Key phrases: quest for adventure, live in the moment, action without thought, defying tradition and conformity, greater risk, greater reward, assert your independence, embrace individuality, a new direction, freedom from fear and doubts, a time of conflict or turmoil, communication and compromise, address desires. Meaning: sweet face and beguiling. The youth has left the security of home and hearth without a backward glance. He is alone but confident in the knowledge that a loving and supportive family will be there if he has need of them. On a quest for adventure and discovery, he seeks the excitement of the new and unknown in distant lands. Following whispers and rumor, he takes risks with little thought or care. His choice is to live in the moment. The past is left behind, while thoughts of the future rest only as far as his next journey. Every adventure gives him a greater knowledge of the world and his place in it. Believing himself both immortal and infallible, he often acts spontaneously, using his charm and enthusiasm to win him favor and release him from strife. He rebels against sage advice to use restraint or caution. As far as the youth is concerned, the greater the risk, the more rewarding the outcome. The only loyalty he shows is to those companions who journey with him. Those who are loyal to the quest will have his loyalty in return, while those who seek to curb and restrict him will be met with resistance. Those who share his passions and interests are right, while those who do not are wrong. There are no shades of gray. The youth sees all in black and white. The youth also seeks the freedom to find his own answers. Tradition be damned. Life is too short to follow in another's footsteps and do things their way. The youth will do things his way, without thought for consequences. His concern is for today. Tomorrow can take care of itself. The past. When he appears in the past, okay, hold on. He's in the, oops. See, I'm looking at all of this, okay. He's in the present. The present. Are you bored with the routine of your life? Do you stare out of the window, dreaming of something different, of change in a new direction? Do you express this need for change only to be met with platitudes, told that if you focus on loving and appreciating what you already have, that you will be happy? Or are you reminded of what you might lose if you make a radical change to your life, choose to defy convention, or rebel against tradition? When you voice your need to do something more with your life, do people around you suddenly question their own importance, as if they should be held in higher regard than your own dreams and ambitions? Understand that we are ever evolving and transforming beings. Sometimes we develop new interests because they are meant to steer us in a new direction, to change and transform our lives in every way so that we may grow to reach our fullest potential. Sometimes these interests create an awareness that we are meant to leave the life we have and explore unexplored realms of possibility and opportunity. The new interests reveal that those who have grown together are now meant to grow apart. If the youth appears in the present, he represents a necessity to address a desire for change within your life, and ask that you have the courage and determination to make your choice without allowing others to discourage you or steer you in a direction of their choosing. If you do not put your own interests first, the potential for greater unhappiness and conflict will increase. You have dreamed for long enough. Now is the time to act. even if it means leaving behind all that is safe and familiar. Beautiful, beautiful. So that is the mentality that the moon is asking you to have. The moon is asking you to fall onto the universe, basically. That's what I'm really feeling off of this, is fall onto the universe and do what the universe wants you to do, which is go onto your path. Take the action now. And like I said, those who have been called already know the path. Now is and you've already done the research. There is no more preparing. Now the preparing and the learning is on the road with action. Okay? So, in the recent past, when it comes to your mentality with the moon, we have the seven, it looks like the seven of air. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to discover this, the seven of air. Here we go. Seven of air. Key words: spirituality, religion, politics, personal dogma, atheism, fundamentalism, indoctrination, kindness. Key phrases: it's not what we believe, but how we believe. Lift others up. Do what you believe make you does what you believe make you kinder? Are you willing to lose another for your beliefs? There are many ways, not just your ways. Educate, don't indoctrinate. Seek a kind approach. Moderate fundamentalist beliefs. Meaning, the seven of air symbolizes the realms of spiritual belief, religious practice, and personal dogma, and the influence they have upon how we perceive the world around us. Spiritual belief can make our lives feel complete, make us healthier, happier, kinder, and more compassionate people. And yet it can also place us at odds with others and start wars, both global and personal. It can bring peace and a healthy sense of well-being, or it can literally place you in harm's way and tear your world and life to pieces. Spiritual belief in the form of religion has throughout the centuries been one of the root causes of almost all human conflict, and it is still one of the leading causes of bloodshed in our modern world. That is very true. There are many who subscribe to the belief that embracing a spiritual path is different to following one of the many organized religions. But consider this: whether you subscribe to a religion or have a more organic spiritual ideology, or even subscribe to atheism, all involve following a personal dogma that can be orthodox and rigid, or expansive and accepting. To believe in a religion, to embrace a spiritual path, or none at all, is no different, energetically, than believing that one political party is better than another, or that a vegan diet is better than one that includes meat and animal products, or that your favorite sports team is the best sports team. All forms of belief can lead to peace and a healthy sense of well-being, or to extreme and fundamentalist behavior. All paths can be born of independent knowledge and understanding, or a mix of both. Each choice, even the choice not to believe in the divine, requires that you believe in something, even if that something is that a belief in anything other than our physical reality is a symptom of a deranged mind. The seven of air reminds us that all personal dogma and spiritual dogma can give rise to an open mind or a closed one to varying degrees. Each path contains core beliefs that won't be changed or cannot be changed, because to do so would make them something other than the beliefs that are meant to be subscribed to. Therefore, it matters not what you believe in, but how you choose to live and express that belief. How does what you believe on a spiritual level influence your thoughts, feelings, and actions? Does it make you kinder and more understanding of those who are different? Or does it inspire a feeling of superiority, that you are right and that you are and then that your way is the only way? Does your spiritual path inspire you to lift people up and brighten their day? Or does it inspire you to think less of others or pity them because their ignorance damns them to some imagined hell or purgatory? What are you willing to give up to lose because of how and what you believe in. What does your spiritual path or personal dogma bring into your life? The seven of air symbolizes an opportunity to look closely at how your personal spiritual beliefs and personal dogma influence your thoughts and behavior, and to contemplate whether they serve to make you a better person or serve to make you more critical and rigid. So, in the recent past, this is a lot of questions. The moon is asking, remember, the moon is the underlying current beneath your ego. The moon is asking, basically, what is it that you want? What is it that you want to believe? Are you open? Are you closed? All these questions, basically, that we read in the description are questions that you have been asking yourself in the recent past. And these are good questions because these questions are the questions of somebody who is either open-minded or becoming open-minded enough to go onto the path that the universe has picked. Okay, so now we're going to look into the present when it comes to your mind and your mind state. And right now, and I believe, this could be the Nine of Water. This could be Nine of Water because she's got bubbles around her. But it also could be Nine of Air. But I think it's water because it looks like that's water coming down on her. That's not a light because it's got bubbles. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look into that nine. Oh, that is Nine of Water because the Nine of Air is the woman on the back. Okay, so here we go. We're going down to water. Let's see what water has to say. And it looks like we're going up to water. I'm really in love with this deck. I'm going to call this my universe's messages deck. Because basically if these cards came up in the original tarot, I probably would be just saying the same thing, I feel like. But here we go. Nine of Water. Illumination, acceptance, openness, emotional enlightenment, strength, courage, fear, and ignorance. Key phrases: open your heart. Past experiences leave an emotional imprint. Shine a light on the source of the emotional pain. The effect of past experiences on the present moment. The weight of our emotions. Emotional enlightenment, the process of becoming lighter. Ignorance is not bliss. Break the cycle. Remove the hooks. Ooh, break the cycle. That is generational curses being broken right now. Meaning, the first thing to be born in the darkness of the void was light. The Nine of Water represents a need to embrace an open heart and allow the light of love to transform and heal emotional pain and turn it into knowledge that sets us free. Our past experiences, good and bad, leave an emotional imprint. Remember, joy and love can inspire a sense of well-being. A happy memory creates a feeling within that curves the lips and makes us smile or laugh, while a bad memory can cause tears and open old wounds we thought were healed and forgotten long ago. Have you ever heard a song playing on the radio and had tears form in your eyes because the song was one you shared with a past love who broke your heart? Have you ever had somebody say something to you that has triggered your anger because they have touched on a deep-rooted, remembered anger towards another who said the very same words? Have you ever started laughing uncontrollably because a silly moment in the now stirred up memories of a silly, happy moment in the past? Our emotions can lift us as high as the stars or plummet us into an abyss of despair, and yet, all too often, we do not know or understand why we feel and react as we do. What makes some memories so much more vivid and unforgettable? What makes them unforgettable is how they made us feel. This is emotional imprinting at work, and through it, we can and do bind ourselves emotionally to the past. In the present, these imprints become triggers that have us reacting on an almost purely emotional level. If our mind was a bank in which we could choose what memories we save, the majority would save only the memories that make them smile, while discarding those that make them cry. There would be so many happy, smiling people in the world if we could choose to keep only the memories that make us smile. Unfortunately, we have no choice. But what we do have is the choice to recognize our emotional triggers. So the bad memories or those laden with weighty emotions have less influence upon us. By shining a light on the source of the emotional pain and then accepting that the moment that caused it is over and cannot be changed or undone, we take the first step to freeing ourselves from the emotional hooks that bind us to the past. Recognizing how we feel and react when recalling that moment or experiencing one like it is the next step toward emotional awareness. Finally, in being mindful and learning not to react when an emotional trigger is squeezed, we reach emotional enlightenment, a state when we are no longer shackled. Eventually, there comes a time when we no longer have to be mindful because the memory no longer has any influence. The hurt has healed and we have transcended. Emotional enlightenment is not a gentle process. It involves rummaging through our memories, revisiting old hurts, seeing them and accepting them for what they are, letting go of harmful and destructive beliefs, and then freeing ourselves of the burden of their emotional weight. It takes time and practice, and at the beginning of the process, we can be more reactive than usual. It's like trying to run up a muddy, slippery slope. We lose our footing, fall, and slip backwards. For some, the process is simply too difficult. Others resist, wondering why anyone would consciously choose to explore and relive their deepest, most painful memories. It's like choosing to cut open old scars to make them wounds all over again. The reality is they are correct. It is like cutting open a scar, but aggressive measure are needed if a cancer grows beneath the scar tissue. If past memories are making you emotionally reactive in a way that is counterproductive in the now, then there is a cancer present. You might, and when I say cancer, I don't mean the zodiac sign, I mean cancer as in the disease. You might not be reliving the memories consciously, but when they have power influence, how you feel and react in the present, then you are reliving those memories on an unconscious level. So the choice is one between having those memories influence you unconsciously or being mindful and aware and lessening or ending their influence. The Nine of Water offers the choice and asks you to make it. You might not have a choice in the memories your mind stores, but you do have a choice as to which ones you invest in emotionally, whether it be a past memory or a new one. Invest in those that fill you with love and lightness, and find yourself rising from the depths. Just as emotional enlightenment is not an easy process, it is also not a spiritual process. It is a healing process. It is the process of making ourselves lighter in being, becoming lighter, by letting go of the heavy emotions we have unconsciously hold on to, and which in turn influence our emotional and physical well-being in the present. When the Nine of Water appears in your reading, you are also being asked to consider if, at this time, one of your emotional triggers is being squeezed for good or ill. Asking this question will help you determine whether you are acting for the wrong or right reasons. Again, that emotional piece, that emotional piece right here. Remember, we had the Six of Fire, balancing out our emotions and that judgment. We're being judged right now. We're being tested right now. This is the last test before our reward, but we're going to keep going. For the ultimate result, we have the Ten of Water. Look, let me tell you something. If you have been called, honey boo, honeymoon, it's hard right now. I know it's hard right now. But in the near future, it's going to be good. I promise you it's going to be good. We got that Ten of Water right there. And I'm going to read it in this deck. But I know what my Ten of Water is. Because that's that Ten of Cups. Every time I see that card, I'm like, yes. Because that means happiness and emotional happiness. And isn't it so beautiful how the mind and the emotions work together? They're like the two they're like the two fish of balance, the yin and yang, you know. They're their own miniature yin and yang with each other. They really go hand in hand. You can't cut off your emotions and think that your mind is going to be okay. And you can't cut off your mind and think that your emotions are going to be okay. You need them both working together. Okay, so now we're looking into the Ten of Water. And look at her. Ain't she so beautiful? She got, if you can see it, she's got a turtle. She's got the moon. She's got that moon magic. She got a whole heart with the eye coming in. That's how, like, yeah, she's doing good. Okay, so let's read here. Ten of Water. Universal love, divine connection, centeredness, serenity, peace, oneness, boundaries, disruption. Okay, everybody that's been called, let me tell you, the biggest thing that called out to me right now is boundaries. This is what we're learning, but we have to learn to have healthy boundaries without having walls that cut us off from life and cut us off from our blessings, because we have these walls up, but we still need to have boundaries so we don't let enemies into our castle. And this is what is in the near future. This is what is going to be achieved. Key phrases: truly living in the present, a feeling of divine connection, a time of serenity and ease, power born of knowledge and understanding, a positive emotional state, the power to consciously project your energy, say no to disruptive influences, giving life and power to shadows. Now the meaning. The Ten of Water symbolizes both a beginning and an ending. It is that moment when we let go of emotions that bind us to the past and find ourselves truly living in the present for the first time. It is a feeling of divine connection with all and everything. Feeling and knowing that love dwells at the very core of our being and always has. It symbolizes a period of time when we can move through life with a serene sense of ease and fluidity, even when surrounded by turmoil or conflict. When the weight of past emotions is released and everything flows in the manner it is meant to, our emotional state now influences our life in a positive way that makes it easy to see and understand how powerful we truly are. When we divest ourselves of emotional hooks to the past that only serve to limit and restrict us. To know yourself to the extent that you understand why you feel as you do, and then realize that you have the choice to react in a different way, is to have control over the energy that you project. Instead of creating a reality that is a reflection of unconscious emotional energy, the Ten of Water lets you know you can now consciously project your feelings and create a future of your choosing. Have you ever noticed how someone can alter the energy of an entire room of people just by walking in and smiling? One smile, a kind gesture, a moment of attention, and genuine interest can change a person's whole demeanor in a heartbeat. Some people seem to have an almost tangible connection to everything and everyone, and a single word or glance can bring joy. When the Ten of Water appears in the cards before you, she represents a state of serene grace that is achievable if you desire it. By consciously embracing a positive mindset and focusing on living a joyful life in this moment, on this day, and each day that follows, you can influence everything around you in the same positive manner. It is not about denying those influences that create discord and disharmony. Instead, it is about choosing not to allow them to disrupt your life or steal your happiness. It is about starting each day with a smile, greeting everyone you meet with kindness, and focusing your attention on the things that bring you peace and joy. Whew, that's emotional bliss. So emotionally, you have a new beginning. Beautiful. So the universe is granting you a new beginning. You are starting this new beginning. Don't get me wrong, this is from the universe. But with your actions, you are starting this new emotional beginning. And now what we have here, even for your mentality, you have a new mentality state. This is a complete transformation. As a human, your human part is a complete transformation. Beautiful. And so, as an ultimate result, remember we had that partnership up here, that love, that Two of Water, intimacy. Now we have another 10. And this is the 10 of, this looks like about the 10 of air, most likely. Okay, so we got the symbols here. Yep, this is 10 of air. Okay, we're going to look into the deck here. What I really love about this deck also is the air signs. You know, usually in the regular tarot, when you get to the air, um, right, the air element or the swords, um, it's always it's always really dark. Out of all the other elements, it can get really dark. There's goodness in there, but there's a lot of darkness. And when you start seeing air, you're like, unless it's talking about something coming to you that's good, and it's the fastest element, like money, um, it gives me a little bit of anxiety. But here, I'm actually pretty confident. Like, oh, okay, what does air have to say? So this is beautiful. Okay, so 10 of air, individuation, individuation, self-actualization, liberation, altered perception, new paradigms, great mystery, paradox, and potential. Key phrases: a time of independence. Say goodbye to the public persona. No longer bound by another's opinion. Walk your own path. Humans are paradoxical by nature. See and know your potential. The self is whole. Time to grow up and leave home. Ooh, but isn't that what the youth just said right here at the beginning? Time to leave home as an ultimate result. So if you haven't left yet, you probably have left. But if you haven't left all the way, this is leaving in your mind state with action. This is everybody now knowing that you've left. Remember, we're in the new moon. Remember what I said at the beginning. New moon in Gemini, and right now Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, so the whole sign of Gemini basically is retrograded. The energy of Gemini is retrograded. You might want to look into see where Gemini lies in your birth chart. So because wherever Gemini lies in your birth chart, it doesn't have to lie in your sun, which that's just your ego. Everybody has a piece of Gemini in them. But see where Gemini lies in your chart, and that is what's retrograded in your life right now. And that's something, whatever you're working on that piece of your life, you need to be silent about it right now and just be action. And then as an ultimate result, then you can communicate, because even this is air is communication. This is when people are going to know that you are moving forward. But I'm going to read outside of the book because I don't want to say something. I don't want to say the spiritual message and then read the spiritual message and kind of go over it again. Meaning, the process of individuation leads to becoming oneself, to stepping away from the external forces that we believe define us, to becoming an independent being who recognizes and embraces their own uniqueness and individuality. It is about removing the mask we present to the world, to the public, so that we are liked and respected and accepted. The face we wear so we fit in and belong. No longer are public face and private life very different. We present our face to the world, and if it is not liked, then so be it. If it makes us a black sheep in a flock of white sheep, then so be it. We would rather be honest and accepted by the few than to be what family or society accepts. Individuation is being who we are meant to be, as opposed to being the person society tells us we should be. It is breaking free from caring about what people think of us, because we love who we are and what we do with our life. We are free, liberated, because we are not bound by others' opinions of us or our actions, the constraints of society or the impediments of our past. It is integrating conscious and unconscious, soul and shadow, the masculine and the feminine, and creating a whole where the self resides at the center. No longer does duality separate and divide. All is in harmony and working in unison. You are you, whole, complete, and ever evolving. And that evolution is not a linear process. It is a circumambulatory process of viewing the self and seeing it from multiple perspectives and accepting and integrating all of the facets and aspects into the whole. No aspect is ugly or beautiful, none good or bad, none better or worse. Each has its place and purpose as part of the beautiful whole. To individuate is to understand paradox and accept that you are one. You are human. To be a whole and complete human is to be paradoxal. To individuate is to see and know your potential and to step forward into the unknown and meet it. You are willing to step away from all that you were so that you may become all that you choose to be. In this process, your perception is altered forever. You are forever transformed. No more are you willing to embrace old paradigms that limit and restrict, that expose a belief that says you should not or cannot. You move forward into the great mystery with confidence, knowing that even when life offers conflict and chaos, when we remain at the center, we have peace. When the tin of air appears in your reading, it represents a time in your life after we have chosen to step free of the mask and wear only one face in private and public. No longer do we hide our thoughts, beliefs, or feelings in order to be accepted, liked, or respected. We have turned our back on expectation, on convention, on mediocrity, or normalcy, to embrace and accept who we are and stand tall and proud. It is time to separate yourself from the herd and to walk your own path. Step through the doorway and begin a life where new paradigms replace the old, and you are free to be the best you that you can be, instead of the you society tells you that you must be. Ooh. I don't know if you felt it, but I got some chills on that. Ooh. Ooh. That was nice. Ooh, no good. Oh my god. I'm so excited. So yes. Everything is coming new. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of things that are going to happen before you can go and come out into the world. And that's everything that we said emotionally, right? So that's again, we're going back because I want to explain this. That don't mean do that right now, because you need to wait until we get out of this retrograde. And when we get into this, is actually what I'm feeling is full moon energy. This is a full moon energy. So this is within the next 30 days. So, and new moon to new moon. But I actually think this is new moon to full moon. We are going to be doing another moon reading for the quarter moon, and then we'll do another one for the full moon, and then the quarter going to new moon again. And we'll be doing this every cycle, which is pretty much every once a week. So with this, I am going to pause again because this was a lot. We paused for emotions, and now we're going to pause for mentality. The basics of mentality is ask and figure out who you are. This is a journey on self, but it's also a journey on your path. And don't be afraid of your own self. Those who are called and those who have answered the call, both those two things combined. The universe has called you, and you have answered the call, and you have been dutiful to the universe, are about to be rewarded. And this is actually in the near future. This is even before you come out. Before all of this happens, you are about to be rewarded for everything, because it hasn't been easy. You just need this last piece of healing. Stuff that you've been doing so good with the universe, and it's been so normal in your life, you may not even know. But the universe has probably put you in a position where you can finally breathe and heal the rest of those little remnants. And then you're going to be on the path. This is the greater consciousness. Remember that they all predicted this before even, I'm turning 27, so before even my generation was born. We were called the indigos. Look how much blue is here. Look how much indigo is in the reading. Yeah. Indigo. Indigo children. Indigo child. So we're going to go ahead and take a pause on this. And then we're going to get into something that we're going to get even deeper. Okay? And this is with spirit. So we're going to take a nice pause on this. I think I might do like a 10-minute break because I want you fully refreshed when we look into this part, because this part goes very deep, and that goes into your spirit, what the moon is telling spirit right now, because this new moon is a action, but it's an action being hidden. So this isn't something where you tell everybody, you know, if you're starting a shoe business, that you tell everybody, I'm starting a shoe business, because you have a lot of people that have negative energy towards you. Remember, the universe is gifting you a new soul tribe for a reason. Those who have been called and those who have answered the call are being gifted a new soul tribe, because the tribe that you had before was there for your lessons. Now, you are getting a new tribe in your future for those in your path. That's what makes it hard, okay? Because you've really attached to the people that were in your old tribe like they were going to be with you forever, and they weren't. That's why you need to be silent, because that is not the tribe that is going to be with you during your path. Okay, break time. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. So now we're going to take a look into the spirit messages that the moon is talking to. And you can tell this is spirit because these are all major arcana except for the last one is a court card. Okay. So the first one, as immediate energy, this is what the universe is calling you to be. The child. If you notice throughout this whole reading, the universe, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the cycle. We are now in the beginning of a new cycle. Okay? Of course, there's phases into the beginning of the new cycle. This is a turning point because this is the beginning of the cycle of action now. Before was the beginning, the stages were beginning of preparing for this action, and now we're in this action. But in this action, we need to be coming back into being new. We're children now. We're always children. Don't forget that. So the child. Key words: new beginnings, innocence, magic, divine love, trust, hope, forgiveness, awareness, potential, anticipation, and dependency. Key phrases: a new beginning, see your potential, heal emotional and psychological wounds, time to play and laugh, acknowledge your successes, delight in the moment, believe in magic, laughter heals, turn dreams into reality, forgive the past, reconnect with innocent pleasures, put doubt aside. Meaning, the child stands confident, taking innocent joy and delight in her connection with the world in which she dwells. She is untouched by fear and full of hope and trust. Despite any hardships, struggle, and harm she has faced, or despite any, I'm so sorry. Despite any hardship, struggle, and harm she has faced, she continues to see only beauty through eyes bright with wonder. She sees the good in all. She is both magic and magical, an innocent soul who believes in happily ever after. And she's in the present. Joy and the ability to dream are the gifts the child bestows upon you. It is time to dream and imagine and to believe that anything is possible if you are willing to try. Forgive and forget all past failures and disappointments. Turn mistakes into positive lessons instead of reasons to give up. Be hopeful. The child in the present represents positivity and potential, a new beginning, one that will bring happiness and joy to your life, especially if you are willing to embrace an open mind and heart and put ideas into action. When was the last time you paid attention to your daydreams? Moments when you allowed your imagination to wander away from the mundane. So often, it is in those moments that our minds show us the truth about what we would really like to be doing with our time. Does something prevent you from making your dreams a reality? If so, are the reasons legitimate or founded in doubt and fear that you will not succeed or do not deserve to succeed? Do you dream of a holiday in a distant land? Do you dream of changing careers and doing something that you love? Or does your daydreaming reveal a simple desire to reconnect with nature? Whatever your dream, now is the time for you to act. Put doubts and skepticism aside and delight in doing something that you love. Give yourself permission to do what you need to do in order to make those dreams come true. Beautiful. That's beautiful, beautiful energy. Seriously. And now in the recent past, you have the maiden. The maiden represents fertility, independence, self-esteem, confidence, self-expression, self-exploration, self-interest, sexuality, creativity, selfishness, codependency, and timidity. Timidity. Key phrases: follow your dreams, discover your passions, focus on self-discovery, address self-imposed limits and restrictions, increase independence, seek your own answers, release feelings of fear and abandonment, craving attention, needing rescue, express goals and desires, be true to self, acting with empathy. So, in your recent past, along with being a learner, what has been learned is to release your insecurities, right? Everybody that has been called has had a test on their insecurities. If you feel like people have been dancing on your insecurities, it's because the universe brought them in your life for a reason. You need to overcome those insecurities. But I'm going to go ahead and read the meaning in the book, because like I said before, I don't really want to say and then read it again. Meaning, the maiden walks an unfamiliar path, but does so with confidence and grace. She has been taught by those around her that it is not selfish or conceited to follow her dreams and actively work to manifest her goals and desires. She does so without needing permission from anyone. Much like her male counterpart, the youth, the modern maiden is not afraid to ask questions, challenge the answers, and be the adventurous explorer. But while the youth explores new horizons, the maiden explores herself. The maiden is equally interested in first discovering and then nurturing her interests, and increasing her self-knowledge and exploring her waking sexuality. She forms relationships with healthy boundaries and expresses her sexuality with innocent pride and confidence. When she chooses to take a lover for the first time, it will be done without shame or fear of judgment. If she chooses to remain alone, it is not because she believes herself to be undesirable, but because she does not believe that she needs a lover in order to be happy or fulfilled. The maiden card is one of youthful confidence, empowerment, and increasing independence. She is fertile, but uses that fertile nature to create, express, and explore. She is on a journey of self-discovery, focused on learning more about who she is and what makes her happy, and she knows that her explorations in the present will give rise to a future self who knows what she wants from life and is not afraid to make it happen. In the past, the maiden was expected to do as she was told and be true to the expectations of family and society. In the present, the maiden chooses to begin the journey towards self-awareness and empowerment. She is in the recent past, so we're going to go ahead and look into this major arcana from the past position. The past. The maiden, when appearing in the past position, has a transitional meaning and is a combination of the child and maiden. How? Ooh, see? You got the child and the maiden right there. How the maiden perceives the world and herself is influenced and shaped by the experiences of the child that she was. In her transition from childhood to early womanhood, she is at her most vulnerable during this transition, for it is between childhood and adulthood that the seeds of self-esteem take firm root, grow, and blossom. If the child has been treated in a harsh manner or has been neglected, the maiden may feel lost and alone, unsure and uncertain, with no real sense of belonging and security. If she has faced ridicule and scorn, she may become timid and meek, afraid to speak or act independently, lest her actions give rise to anger in those around her. She may be overly dependent on others for guidance, validation, acceptance, and protection, and yet, paradoxically, simultaneously, be afraid to trust those very same people. She may also feel compelled to use her body and blossoming sexuality to draw forth the love, affection, and attention she craves. Just as the bud of a flower can be harmed by frost or fail to thrive in unfavorable conditions, the maiden can also be harmed by neglect or by harsh words, ridicule, and mockery. The damage can be even greater if those words and deeds issue from someone she trusts and loves. Feelings of betrayal and abandonment can leave permanent psychological scars that influence her future choices. If the child, who grows to become the maiden, has been wounded, seeds of doubt and insecurity, low self-esteem and self-worth may take root. Over time, those seeds grow and give rise to a self-limiting and restricting mindset, and patterns of behavior develop that can have a destructive influence from inception until death. Conversely, the child who is nurtured and loved may grow to be the confident and sure-footed maiden, Her sense of self is positive and affirming, and so she moves out into the world with a carefree step, more inclined to seek out and follow her own path, instead of being directed or shepherded by another. Do you hesitate to speak your truth for fear you will be laughed at? Do you find yourself in constant need of approval? Are you unable to trust both in yourself and others? Are you dreaming of rescue, that someone will suddenly appear and change your circumstances? It is the it is the innocent, yet self-aware and confident maiden who walks the path before her without fear. When she appears in your reading, she, like the child, asks that you release those feelings that limit, restrict, especially those born of the unkind words and actions of others. Stand tall, devote time to the experiences in life that bring you deep personal pleasure and satisfaction. Do so knowing that your path and those activities to which you devote your time and interest are not for others to determine, question, or judge. Do not allow a fear of being rejected prevent you from knowing and being true to yourself. Beautiful. So this is in the past. Self-discovery. Self-discovery in your emotions, in your mind, self-discovery in your spirit. This has all been triggered from spirit. Because at the bottom, what all of this trauma, what this is, that you need to heal from, is insecurities in yourself. That is what the moon is trying to trigger in you. The moon reveals things. It also hides things, but it reveals things. There's a lot of shadows in the moon. And so this is a shadow piece that the new moon is asking you to look into, especially during this Mercury retrograde. Okay, so now in your present, you have number 11, which is body and mind. Body and mind. So I'm sorry, this is not a major arcana. This is an air, body and mind. This would normally be a court card. And I'm going to see. So it looks like this is a page. Page of air. Yes. Okay. So this would normally, in a regular tarot deck, this would be a page of air. But this is a completely different deck. So we're just going to read off of what the body and mind is saying. 11 of air, body and mind. Keywords: imagination, reality, fact, opinion, body, mind, open mind, narrow mind. Key phrases: be open-minded and questioning. You are only limited by your own mind. Be discerning. How is your mind affecting your body? How is your body affecting your mind? Facts are certainties. Opinions are not facts. Again, let me say that again. Facts are certainties. Opinions are not facts. We can only change ourselves. Meaning, what is reality and what is imagined? What is fact and what is fiction? Can that which dwells within the mind have an effect on the body? And can the physical body affect the state of the mind? The 11 of air symbolizes a need to keep a healthy understanding of the relationship between mind and body, and the power each can have over the other. It symbolizes being able to differentiate between fact and opinion, and to make room for the imagination within our realities, while still embracing a little bit of reality within our imaginings. This may be a challenging card for some, because the eyes can only see what the mind is willing to conceive. So the more rigid the mind, the more difficult it is to accept how much influence and power the mind and body have over each other. If the mind is unwilling or limited, then understanding is difficult, and acceptance in some circumstances may be impossible. We all know someone who, no matter how many times they are offered facts, not opinions or theories, still cannot believe unless they witness it with their own eyes or experience it personally. And even then, they still might not believe it. They are complete skeptics. Then there are others who are open to everything and question nothing. They would believe you if you were to tell them that you did not see a blue sky above, but instead saw a pink one. Yes, there are actually people who see and perceive colors differently. But this person is so open-minded that they would not consider that a lie is offered. They would not question or even consider that you might be lying to them. They are just so trusting and willing to believe in the good of others that they accept everything offered, whether it be truth or deception. Their willingness to trust and follow blindly gets them into just as much strife as those who find it difficult to believe in anything beyond their own experiences. The 11 of air appears to remind us that somewhere in the middle of the two is a better way to be. Strive to be open-minded and questioning. Sometimes a little skepticism and discernment can serve to protect you from making foolish mistakes and following blindly as you are led off a cliff. On the other hand, believing only in facts and the reality that you experience with your physical senses can close you off to reaching your fullest potential. You may limit yourself in what you can accomplish because achieving goals and living your dreams requires a belief in something more than just the tangible. When the 11 of air appears in your card, it also asks that you look at the impact your beliefs might be having upon your body and the impacts your lifestyle and diet might be having on your mind. The mind can and does have amazing power over the body. Some Tibetan monks and Indian yogis have become so skilled at using meditation to manipulate their bodies that they can control blood pressure, body temperature, heart rate, and more. People with multiple personality disorders have been known to have personalities that have completely different health statuses. They can have one personality that physically needs glasses in order to see properly and another that does not. There are some with personalities that exhibit a range of physical health issues, such as high blood pressure and diabetes, but other personalities that have no health issues at all. And these differences have been witnessed, recorded, and studied by both medical practitioners and scientists alike. It is a fact that the mind can alter the body. How is your mind affecting your body? In the same way the mind can alter the body can also alter the mind. Research now shows that if the body is unhealthy, for example, there are issues within the gut such as GERD, candida, irritable bowel syndrome, or the mind too can be affected. Imbalances within the gut can lead to depression, anxiety, irritability, hyperactivity, and an inability to focus or concentrate, and memory lapses. Pain and inflammation can also have similar effects upon the mind, especially if they impact on the ability to sleep. How is your mind affecting, how is your body affecting your mind? It is important to understand that what you believe in your body can have an impact on your body, and what you do to your body can have an impact on your mind. Just like the Indian yogis and Tibetan monks, you have it within you to have so much more control than you might believe. And sometimes the biggest changes can be made just by learning to see a positive lesson within a negative experience. Ooh, this is a big thing. Learning to see a positive lesson within a negative experience. That is the key to life there, I'm going to just tell you. Or telling yourself that you can and will instead of you can't and you should not. You can do almost anything you set your mind and body to doing. The 11 of air also addresses the subject of fact and opinion and discerning between the two. We all have opinions, and those opinions may be valid if based on knowledge and personal experience. But opinion and fact are not the same thing. A fact is something that has been proven to be true, and that truth is based on certainty and consistency. It is a fact that night follows day. It is a fact that we live on a planet that is made up of oceans and land masses. It is a fact that rain falls from the sky. It is a fact that rainbows are created when light shines through water particles. A fact is something that cannot be disputed. An opinion can be disputed. For example, it is an opinion that all dogs have fleas. A dog owner might have had many dogs, and all of those dogs may have had fleas, but this does not make the statement that all dogs have fleas factual. It is his opinion based on his personal experience. The fact is that not all dogs have fleas. Some do, others do not. The 11 of air asks you to be wise to the difference. When offering information to others, be sure that what you offer is fact. Be clear when you are offering opinions based on your personal experiences, because what might be truth to you might not be truth for someone else. Don't get caught up in a game of I am right and you are wrong. When you're basing your arguments on opinion, facts are certainties. While opinions might be true for the individual, but can be subject to dispute when looked at from the perspective of another. A wee note should be also made of the difference between something that has been proven to be fact and something that is theoretical. A theory, a group of ideas or concepts, might well have been studied and researched to great extent, but it must always be remembered that theories are based upon conjectures, speculation, and assumptions. Until such time as a theory can be proven to be factual, it is only a guess. We can theorize all that we want, but we should be careful not to offer theory and conjecture as fact. Our minds, our imaginations, are amazing creative tools. With our minds and imaginations, we have the ability to shape our reality and to create our reality. But that reality is also shaped by absolutes. The leaven of air asks us not to become so lost in our imaginings that we forget reality. Instead, we do best to remember that there needs to be a productive harmony and acceptance of both. We can literally change our minds and in doing so alter our physical state, but we do so within a physical reality that is full of certainties that we have no control over. We can only control ourselves and our perception of the world. When you differentiate between what is factual about your own mind and self and what is simply theory or opinion-based belief, you can change what is within both so that your mind and body are one and not working against each other. You can see that a true fact is a fact and rarely changes, while opinions change all the time, irrespective of the facts, and can exist side by side with contradictory truths because they are often based on our perception and understanding as opposed to reality. Like the other 11 cards, the 11 of air is a balancing and realignment card. If it appears within your reading, it does so in order for you to determine if there is an imbalance at play and suggest that you meditate upon the subject. Okay, and that's beautiful. So this is again page. This is page energy, which is beginning energy. This is young energy. This goes back to that child. This goes back to that maiden. This goes back to that youth here. So when you're going in, stepping into this new cycle, you need to allow your spirit, you need to be new into this cycle. Yes, take the lessons from your past, but understand you are going into a whole brand new game of life. Yes, let me explain it this way. If you have two games, right, that you love to play, one of them is Monopoly and the other one is Sorry or Clue. We're going to put Clue. You can be so let's say you mastered Monopoly. That's the last cycle. You win every time. And not only do you win, but you dominate the game. And you beat everybody at the game. Nobody can beat you at Monopoly. And now you're playing a new game called Clue. And you're no longer the winner every time. Well, you're no longer the winner every time because you're not playing the same game. Now, take the lessons that you learned on how to win in that game. But when you're going to play the game of Clue, which is the new cycle, you're in a whole nother game. And that's how you need to be looking at life right now. So you're learning the rules. You're learning how things go. There may be some similarities, both the games have cards. But the concept of the game is different. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't master the game of Clue, but you can't go into the game of Clue and playing it like you're playing Monopoly. Because if you play the game of Clue and you're playing it like you're playing Monopoly, you're going to lose every time. And for those of you who don't know those two games, Monopoly is a game basically where you go around the board and you're trying to get all the properties and you're trying to get all the money and you're trying to buy everything from people. I mean, it's Monopoly, so you're trying to own all the properties on the board, but you got to do it without getting broke. Sometimes you go to jail. Sometimes you got to pay a fee. Sometimes you got to pay taxes, blah, 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 blah. So let's say you're going at that. Now, when you go into the game of Clue, this is basically where Everybody gets dealt a card, and there's characters in the game, and one character did a murder, and you're trying to figure out which character did the murder. So you can see those are two different games. That's the gist of each game. Those are two different games. If you try and go from Monopoly and you going into the game of Clue and you playing Clue like you're in Monopoly, you are going to lose. So you need to come into the game of Clue, aka this new cycle, as a brand new player, as a beginner. Like I said, take the lessons that you learned from Monopoly, put them in your back pocket, because they may apply in this new game as things are going. But this is a new game, so keep your mind open while having discernment. It's a very delicate balance, and I'm going to tell you, it's not an easy one to have. It's not an easy one to get. But if you fall back on your spirit, you will understand, you will get it. Let your spirit carry you through this, okay? Especially right now. This is the energy right now with this new moon. So, what this energy of the new moon is going to bring about is abundance. That's 15. Ooh, look at that dragon too. A dragon again. Yay, I love dragons. So yeah, we're going into abundance. So we're going to go ahead, and that is a major arcana card for this deck. We're going to go ahead and read the meaning for that card, abundance. I'm liking abundance. Is that saying something? I hope it's saying there's going to be some money. Okay, abundance. Consciousness, giving, receiving, energy, love, and appreciation. Key phrases. Abundance is a state of plenty. Abundance is a feeling. Abundance surrounds you. Have faith and conviction. Complete trust is required. Your rainy day is today. Determine your goals and reasons and set intentions. A state of contentment not influenced by external factors. Relax and enjoy yourself. Generosity ripples outward. The more you give, the more you receive. Appreciate and be grateful. What's the meaning? What is abundance? Abundance is defined as a state of plenty. When the abundance card appears, it signifies a feeling of abundance, of appreciation, that opens you to the abundance that surrounds you. In turn, this feeling gives rise to an abundance consciousness. A person with an abundance consciousness is one who is always hopeful, seeks a fair and equal exchange of energy, and sees potential and opportunity in all experiences. To create and open ourselves to abundance and embrace an abundance consciousness is our seventh reason for being, and potentially one of the more challenging purposes, because it requires absolute faith and conviction. It requires complete trust. Abundance consciousness is a state of contentment and fulfillment that is not influenced by external factors, regardless of whether the experience was good or bad. One with an abundance consciousness sees the whole experience and learns from the whole experience. Abundance embodies a way of living that does not change, regardless of whether you have more or less in your life. Abundance cannot be earned, given, bestowed, or taken away. It is contentment, born of fulfillment and appreciation. Abundance means to see and appreciate the wealth that surrounds us. Not just the material wealth, but the abundance of energy, love, nature, spirituality, food, enjoyment, and time. Abundance is a perpetual state of evolution, expansion, and growth that is mirrored in all that surrounds us. If you do not see these things, you may be restricting the flow of abundance. Perhaps you have blockages in place, beliefs that have you seeing a lack or a scarcity, and embracing an idea that everything is limited or will run out. Abundance is about giving and receiving in equal measure, rather than controlling, taking, possessing, or hoarding. Being generous and appreciative and grateful will help you to experience abundance. Being loving and giving love will help you receive love. Being respectful will help bring respect to you. Giving with the right intentions for the right reasons sharing what you have without fear rather than dwelling on what you do not have. These will help bring wealth to you. Remember, however, abundance about giving simply because you can and want to, not because you want something in exchange. Okay, so now this abundance card is coming to us because I'm part of the collective, right? Everybody's part of the collective. So I'm going to just say us is in the near future. And that's beautiful because this near future, you got a new beginning, you got a completion here, and then you got some abundance coming that's going to lead to what? Okay, so let's see here. Okay, the future. When the abundance card appears in a future position, it signifies the rippling outward effects of generosity. Remember to share what you have, even if you only have a little. Be generous in giving, even if the only things you have to give are your care and attention. Okay, let me pause this really fast because this is very important to know. Remember when I said, and I keep saying it, the universe is calling, has made a call. This is a message for people that have answered the call. I don't know if you remember, I know this is a long reading. All my moon readings are going to be long and detailed like this. This is just how I am. Now look, okay? You got that abundance, and what's this talking about? Giving, right? The universe is going to give. You need to trust into the universe while you're going into this path. And I'm going to say this because this is a personal testimony. When you put yourself in the hands of the universe, I put myself in the hands of the universe, and it was scary. And I put my hands in the hand of the universe before even the pandemic happened. It was scary. And throughout the whole time, I was being carried through in the palm of protection. And a lot of things happened in my life that could have really went bad, but they didn't. Because of the universe, I had the universe's protection. So this is my message to you as a personal testimony, as somebody that has fully fallen back onto the universe. The universe has your back. What the universe wants you to do is for the good of the universe. Okay? So, yes, there are rewards. I have been really rewarded by it. And I have had my life shaped up to exactly how I wanted it to be. And this is what the call is. Me personally, I'm being called to another level. Everybody that has been called and has answered the call, you are also being called to a new level. And this is where this abundance comes to. So the universe is challenging all that has been called. And when you're called, you will know. You know when you're called. You don't need to question it. You don't need to question it. You need to question whether or not you're going to answer it or not. I hope that you do. But when you are called and you answer and you follow and you are loyal to the universe, because the universe is also loyal to you. When you are loyal to the universe will always make sure that you are fine. The universe will always make sure that you are taken care of. But with that call, you have to give up doing things for money. Money will come. Money is a game piece. I think it's very interesting. We were talking about Monopoly and Clue, and we were talking about game, and now we're coming into this. Money is a game piece in life. You can't take money with you. So when you live your life for money, you live your life for nothing, really. Because what can you take? When we pass on to the next life and we go to our spirit and we go to the universe and we go to God, or we go to Ma'at, or whatever your belief is, whatever your personal belief is. All beliefs are welcome, in my reading. Maybe some are like Satanism and stuff. Take that somewhere else. But Pretty much all beliefs are welcome in my readings that come across. But when you talk to your spirit and you talk to, your judgments and the universe, and they say, what did you accomplish in life? Oh, I made a lot of money. Well, what does that have to do now? That's only for the now. Okay? How about I grew? I helped. I helped other people grow. I passed on a skill. I passed on, I passed on healing. I learned how to heal. I learned how to I learned how to manifest things in this world. I learned how to love myself in the physical world. Now these are things that you can take back, and you can take them to your next life, and you can take them to your resting spot. These are things that are worth more than anything on this earth, including gold and silver. These things that a human does is precious. And right now it's rare, and that's a sad thing. But we're gonna go ahead and read some more. Get into a habit of giving to others, especially when you no longer have need for what you have. Make a habit of cleaning out your cupboards and giving away what you do not use or need. Offer someone in need a helping hand when you see them struggling rather than walking on by. Sometimes something as simple as a kind gesture can change the day for another. If something wonderful happens to you, pay it forward, and you create abundance in the lives of others as well as your own. This generosity ripples out in a magical way, creating future abundance. The more you give, the more you receive. Beautiful. So now we're going into the ultimate result, which is the scribe, which, let me see here. So if the 11 of air would be a page, the scribe here is the 12 of air, so that is a messenger. So that would be the knight of swords. Okay, in the regular tarot, but like I said, this is a completely different deck. Okay, so the scribe, record keeper, information, knowledge, tradition, history, personal history, preservation, and censorship. Look for key phrases. Look for an unbiased source. Be objective and seek multiple perspectives. Visit the library or archives. Value the written word by writing things down. Document your life journey. Make multiple copies of your digital files. A need to censor yourself. Guard your personal information. Meaning, the scribe is the record keeper, the keeper of all knowledge and information about past, present, and future. He is a priestly man, although not necessarily a religious one. His religion is knowledge and wisdom, tradition, mythos, and law, philosophy, religion and science, mathematics, and the arts, history, and current events and events that are coming. He has a reverence for books and makes little room for anything else in his life. They are his constant companions, and when he is not reading and memorizing their contents, he is searching for new sources of information and collating and documenting that information so it can be recounted with ease. He is on a perpetual quest for knowledge, not just for his own benefit, but for all of mankind. He believes that record keeping is the cornerstone of civilization, and without accurate records, the past has served no purpose. Unlike the sage, the scribe is a man without intellectual bias or prejudice. He is objective and passionate about preserving, having, and providing the most accurate information, and values being to be able to provide the most accurate information. He always offers knowledge from several perspectives and differing points of view. He is a man of letters. Those who know him see him as multifaceted. He is philosopher, historian, counselor, teacher, instructor, and more. He is respected. His knowledge is treasured. His knowledge is also feared by those who seek to control the information and knowledge that he has amassed. He holds the keys to the library. He knows the secrets of kings and church and machines and the politics that have brought leaders to power and removed them. With the knowledge he has, he himself can make or destroy nations. It is a power that inspires fear, but also a power that he would never use, because the machines of man are little importance to him. Knowledge is his God, and the only God he worships. When the scribe appears in your reading, he symbolizes the importance of documenting your life journey, whether it be through photos, a journal, a blog, or a video. Record your story so it can be enjoyed and remembered, and do it in a manner that can be safely preserved. Write your thoughts down on paper. Keep scrapbooks full of photos and thoughts about your favorite experiences. The scribe asks that you value the act of writing things down. You might wonder at the necessity, but while the technology at hand enables us to store a wealth of information, it can also be unreliable, and you risk losing everything if a hard drive fails or the cloud should cease to be. If you don't wish to write things down, take the appearance of the scribe in your readings as a timely reminder to make multiple copies of all that have stored on your phone, computer, or laptop. You sometimes won't realize the extent of your loss until after it occurs. Don't risk losing those precious memories. Keep them safe. The scribe also signifies that there might be a need to seek someone out who can help you with some research you may need to do. You may need to visit a library or even seek out someone whose specific role is to collate or archive records. Whether you are trying to discover your family history or wishing to follow a path that is steeped in tradition, now is the time to start asking questions and discovering the answers. Beautiful. Okay, so when I look at this card, remember, emotionally you're coming into a healing, and you're coming into a partnership. This happens to be with your love, okay? Then remember, mentally you are going against the grain. Ultimate result, you're going against the grain. When you're going against the grain, everybody is going on an individual journey. There is going to be a lot of firsts coming out, and some of these firsts, a lot of these firsts are going to be first as we know it, because we have a lot of ancient people and this ancient knowledge. And when I say ancient knowledge, I mean knowledge before Egypt, knowledge before Greece, knowledge before anything that we have records of now. I'm talking about Atlantean knowledge. I'm talking about Lemurian knowledge. Those souls have been reborn. This is called the indigos, right? And as an indigo, your purpose in life is to reach that violet color aura. Now, why you may feel like the wise one among everybody, you still have a purpose. And the purpose is to reach that violet, that crown chakra aura. Now, as you're moving through this, obviously, simple. What did the card say? Document. Because you will be the first to do this. Your individual self will be the first one to be individually like this. You must document it. It must be preserved. Because in the younger generations, there's going to be people like you. And even in your generation, there's going to be people like you. And even in the older generation, there's going to be people like you. Be the inspiration. Okay? Awesome. So we're going to take one more break. That was with the spirit message. That was pretty deep. And what we're going to do with this break is, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do another, this is part one of the new moon reading. This is very long. I'm going to do a whole nother reading, and that's going to be going into each element. So I'll have 4 more videos coming out today, and that's going to be one for water signs as collective, and then we're going to look into each water sign individual. One for fire, the same thing. We look into each of the fire signs individual. We're going to do air, and then we're also going to do earth. And we're going to look into the new moon for that, okay? All right, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.